Hey, this is Dan from MusicXplorer. We're here today with Dan Baird, former singer-guitarist for the Georgia Satellites. The band was best known for their hits in the 1980s with Keep Your Hands to Yourself, Battleship Chains, and Hippy Hippy Shake. Dan started his solo career in 1990 and had his first hit, I Love You, Period. He has released several solo albums since then. He has played and toured with his band Homemade Sin all the way through 2019. Even though Dan stopped touring, it hasn't stopped him from making music, and his latest release is with Stan Lynch, who's the former drummer for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. They call themselves the Chefs. Hey Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm surviving the best I can.
Aren't we all?
So it seems like you've got a lot going on. Even though you ended you ended your road career last year, but it seems like you've got a lot going on.
It was the beginning of November. I just went, I've had enough.
What were your influences to get into playing guitar and being in rock and roll?
Okay, I was born in 1953. I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, the Rolling Stones, the Ventures. They were all on the radio. I remember Dylan knocking me out when I was a kid. To us, we wanted to sound like if you took AC/DC, Aerosmith, NRBQ, and the Rolling Stones and the Faces and crammed them all together and took out all the pianos. I think that was kind of our guiding glop of bands.
So the Satellites ended in 1990. Was there...
No, they didn't end. I left.
You left. Okay.
Big difference.
It's still going on, right?
Yes. Rick Richards is still keeping it going. When we started, and we're just a bar band, everybody was like, man, we're going to take off of that rowboat one day and go and look for Success Island. And eventually, we did get that little rowboat, and the hand of God came down, picked us up, and set us down on Success Island at the end of '86. We had 4 guys with a common goal, and you reach the goal. What do? Morrow's vision of the future most looked like mine. And the 2 Ricks looked least like mine. We kept pushing. We did 3 records, and by the 3rd one, I went, we've done everything we can do.
So what were the highlights of your time with the Georgia Satellites? What are just a couple of your highlights? Favorite moment?
Yeah, playing the Marquee Club in London. That was an amazing night. There was a place in Glasgow called the Barrowlands in Scotland that might have been the most rock and roll show I've ever been a part of. It felt like, somebody else was actually inside my body. It was going on. Playing the Roskilde Festival 3 times, I think. Opening for Petty for 2 months.
So I guess moving on to your solo album, you quit the band in 1990, but you didn't release your first solo album until 1992, right?
91 or 92, I don't remember.
Was there when you left, did you know where you were going? Did you have an idea what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I had a very good idea. Brendan and Rick Rubin were working together, and Rick kind of liked the Satellites, and Brendan, knew all about us. We just started working on a record. It was a good time making both those records. Very, very different, and it was a good experience on the first one. On the second one, Brendan had gone through the roof.
Buffalo Nickel?
Yeah, Buffalo Nickel was like 2 years later, and Brendan was fielding phone calls from Neil Young and Elvis Costello and stuff, and it was just kind of like, wow, I am your hobby.
That's funny. Before I did want to ask you about Neil Young. I didn't know where that was going to come in, and I don't know how many times people have asked you that question. You accidentally met him in the gym or something?
Can't remember the exact reason. I think we were in New York doing a remix on the second Satellites record. We were staying at the Parker Meridian Hotel on 57th, and I had a friend who worked at Warner Reprise and said, hey, Neil Young and the Blue Notes are playing down at a club downtown called The World. You want to go down? Anyway, you want to go see Neil Young? I went, yeah. So we go down and we see him, and he's doing, Neil and the Shocking Pinks. Anyway, the show gets over, and they go, well, you want to go say hey to him? I went, he doesn't want to say hey to me. Anyway, we're walking out, and they went, oh, we're going to just go say hey. Neil comes out of the little dressing closet. Neil's not a real loud guy like I am. And, and the disco's blaring. Neil looks up at me and goes, and I'm going, and I shrug my shoulders and go, what? and, and like, like that. And he goes, back and turns around, walks off. And the girls go, why didn't you say anything? I couldn't hear him. He just said, oh, he just said, I like your band. And seriously thought I was just going to start throwing up, got lightheaded. A hero, absolute hero, just said he liked your band. And because you couldn't hear him, you shrug your shoulders and go, so what? And he goes, so what back? And I'm kicking myself in the ass. And I walk all the way back from way downtown up to 57th Street. Because when the right foot struck, it was stupid, and the left foot struck, it was fuck, stupid, fuck, stupid, fuck, stupid, fuck, all the way up to 57th Street from way downtown where the streets don't have no numbers. Get back to the hotel, spend about 2 hours sleeping, just tossing and turning in bed. Finally decide, screw it, I'm going to go run on the treadmill and just run some of this off. Because all I could do is just sit there and hate myself. I ran as much as I possibly could, and I kind of felt emptied out, of all the self-loathing. And I walk into the dressing room, and there's Neil Young, and he's troweling down as I'm getting ready to swap back out. And I go, Neil, we got introduced last night at the World. I couldn't hear a single thing you said to me. I'm so sorry. Was that a Silvertone amp you were using? Because he'll talk guitars and amps. And we sat there in our underpants talking guitars and amps for 15 real minutes. All was redeemed. I came out the other side. That's cool. Neil Young talked to me for 15 minutes when he didn't have to.
You said you're not touring anymore. Last year was it, right?
It's like if you can't be the shaman, and you just come out as the shell that used to be.
Were there any songs that you did not do at the last show that you wish you did?
No, I never used a set list. The worst thing in the world is looking down and seeing the song that you dread. And it's just kind of like if I call it out, it's just you have no time to dread it. You got to play it.
That's true. I never look at it that way, though.
Yeah, you may not like it, but at least you got to skip the dreading part.
So I guess getting along with your albums, besides your solo career, I mean, you've got so many bands you've been involved with. The two that are out now that released two releases, the Bluefields, which you don't really sing on a lot, and also the instrumental album with Stan Lynch that just came out. So I guess first, the Bluefields, how did that start?
Joe Blanton has been a fixture in and around Nashville for years. Him and Warner played together, and they were working on something, and Warner said, come on over. We want somebody, you play bass some, but we don't want a bassist, and I went, I'm your man. I own a bass. We started writing songs. Joe Warner and I made this record, and so we got Brad Pemberton to come play, and he used to be in the Cardinals, Ryan Adams band.
Let me back up before we talk about Stan.
Yeah.
The Bluefields. So the album just came out, and it seems like you're. I just wanted to get your perception on it because you got a different role than you did in your solo career or the Georgia Satellites.
Yeah, man, the ultimate backseat, the bass.
Not only that, but you're producing, you're writing, you're doing. It's a whole different. Well,
it is. Yeah, it's like, look, I might sing a song on the record, I might not. It depends on the material. And to me, it's. I started working with Joe and Warner, going like, I want to be the bass guy.
What brought on this album with Stan Lynch?
I had a couple of songs that Hippy Surf Party, which is the original, it's the lead-off song on the Chef's record.
Yeah.
And I had that, and I'm going, man, the vocal's just in the way. It doesn't need a lyric content. And so I got a couple of those together, and never presented them to the band because I knew that they really weren't going to be that interested in doing this kind of stuff in Homemade Sin.
Right.
And Stan called up, and we hadn't spoken in at least 5 years, and it was like, no time had passed at all. We were still in 87 on the tour, and I finally worked up the nerve, said, Stan, can I send you an MP3 of a song and see if you'd like to play real drums on it? Because right now it's just got boom whack drums. and he said, yeah, man, this sounds like fun. I said, we're going to fuck around and make a record. We knew it was going to be an instrumental record because by the third song, I hadn't sung one bit.
Do you ever see yourself playing live again?
Nope, I did that for a lot of years. There would be a couple of situations that I would go, oh, hell yeah. If somebody needed a guitar player that I admired, and for some stupid reason they picked me, Neil Young needs a guitar player, and he called me up, I'd go like, okay, when?
All right, Dan. Well, I really appreciate you talking here today. It was fun.
Yeah.
Interesting. And
well, look forward to hearing from you.
Dan. Hear from you.
All right.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Dan. Have a good weekend.
Ciao, man.
Bye.
You bet. You do the same.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.